Hey, what's up, you guys? Eric here, driverlineup.com. World's okayest steering wheel holder. And I got the pups behind me, so you're gonna hear some occasional panting. Because just went for some BALL time. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say the word, because if I say the word, then everybody gets activated and thinks it's time to go for another round. But I'm currently sitting outside the hospital in St. Louis. Not actually at the hospital, but on the hospital campus. Jenna's inside. Her appointment's going on right now. Thanks to this COVID thing, you can't go inside with your loved ones. So get to sit out here in the car forever, because the hope is that this appointment doesn't take extremely long. I mean, if it does, it does. I told her when she went in, I said, please don't feel rushed or anything, because obviously we want to get this taken care of. We want it done it the right way. If we have to get another hotel again tonight, we get another hotel again tonight. Priority is to make sure we get this taken care of. But we don't have a hotel booked for tonight, because the objective is to be able to drive back to Springfield tonight if all goes well. We stayed at a hotel in St. Louis last night to have us positioned just a few miles away from where the appointment is. So and by the way, Jenna very much, and she's been trying to reply to a lot of the comments, she very much appreciates the thoughts and the prayers. Seriously, guys, the prayers are, I'm a firm believer in prayer. And, even if you don't believe in prayer, letting her know that you're thinking about her is really encouraging, because this has been a little bit of a tough one for her. She got a little bit emotional when she went in. Not too bad. I think it's probably a lot of it's nerves too, but without giving away too much of what's going on, because I think that's probably her place to explain to you guys more than anything. She has potentially some sort of a genetic scenario that can affect your flexibility. It can affect your it can cause deterioration in your muscles, and there's just a lot of things that it can affect in it, and a lot of those symptoms she certainly has. But one of the things we've been concerned about as far as driving a truck is that one of the things that there's like 3 different styles of this particular situation that you can have, and one of them very, very heavily affects affects your circulatory system, like your veins and your heart and all that. So hopefully that's not what the version that she has, because that's the only part that could potentially take her out of trucking. Because obviously you don't want to be in a situation, where you're driving a truck with potential heart problems, so she doesn't have any symptoms that would suggest that that's the kind she has. But you just want to make sure you want to be responsible and ethical, and if it's going down a path to find out if there's any reason she shouldn't be driving, that we can find those reasons out. We don't see any reason that she shouldn't be driving. No doctor to date has said that there's any reason she shouldn't be driving, but it is certainly the case that until we got to the specialist, there's no real way to know for sure without all these tests run and everything. So that's kind of what we're here doing. But anyway, because I'm sitting out here with not much of anything to do, I did want to do a quick video and talk to you guys, because we've gotten quite a few questions about training your significant other. And due to the fact that Jenna may not be able to drive long term, Again, I hope that's not the case, but if she can't drive, then I may potentially be training. And I was just watching Lyle's video, and I'm with him. I'm not sure on it. I mean, just so you guys know, you think that trainers make substantially more money, and it is true. I think that trainers make more money, but it's not as substantially more as you think it is. And I know with a lot of drivers, they kind of have this, kind of having this constant battle internally on, is it worth the money? And I think it depends on the mindset that you go into it with. For me, if I did train, it would be for two reasons. Money would not be one of them, because the money is just not that good over. I mean, Johnson's Logic said the other day, he was telling us, he was like, look, I'm making just as much, if not better, running solo right now than I was making when training. And that's true. The two reasons for me, and this might upset a student, I just have to get the right kind of student. The first reason is I like to go home now and then, like I don't need to be home a lot, but I ain't out here trying to run 3 months straight. Good for you guys who do it. I would hope that you wouldn't judge me for not doing it, but I just don't want to do it. I don't think that I'm not trying to prove anything. I'm not trying to be a super trucker. I'm not trying to flex muscles and say, look how much better I am because I can run this long. Screw all that. I don't want to run all that. I don't want to run that long. I like to take breathers. I like to keep my sanity. I'm young enough to where I still have a life. I still do things. I still work on things. I still have side gigs. I still have things going. Like I still have a life outside of trucking. So if my truck is teaming, be that in training or just teaming or like running how we currently run, which is Jenna and I driving a truck, it doesn't put me in the hole as bad to take a week off. And if I do go in the hole, which is very rare, but if I do go in the hole, if I'm teaming, then I can climb right out of it. Super, super easy, because you just get so much revenue teaming that you can climb out of the hole pretty quick. That would be the first reason. Second reason, now, of course, a student, I'd have to pick the right kind of student who might have kids at home or something and doesn't mind going home now and then. Some students want that. Some students don't. Some students just want to, get it done and get it done as quick as possible, and they get upset when a trainer takes time off. I get that, but there are also students who need that home time, and I would fly my student home, when I go home. So that'd be the first thing. The second reason that I would want to train versus solo, because like I said, going back to the first point, solo is difficult to take a lot of time off. If you get in a whole solo, it's a lot harder climb to get back in the positive on your settlements. But the second thing is that I like to help. I'd want to train, like I'd want to help others become professional drivers and start this career. I think that would be very fulfilling and rewarding. It's very rewarding and fulfilling to see people get answers to their questions on my YouTube channel. Or on the Discord that we have, or on driverlineup.com, which is a social app. There's 150 drivers on there. It's rewarding and fulfilling to help people be better at what they do. And I think it helps me grow and become better in the process. So for those reasons, if for some reason Jenna couldn't drive, I'd probably alternate in running solo to be able to have her on the truck with me, to teaming to where I could help others and still be able to take some time off without going too much into the hole. So that's kind of where the direction I'm going to go in. And then the one final thought that I wanted to throw in here real quick is that if you're a couple looking to come drive at Prime, it's incredibly lucrative. And not only is it incredibly lucrative, it's relatively easy to be incredibly lucrative. Like, you just don't have to run hard for it because you're not paying a driver external of your household. You know, all the profit coming into the truck stays with you and your other half. But on the training front, it can be frustrating. In fact, we were told when we went through training that, or when Jenna went through training, that couples make some of the best trucks at Prime, but have some of the most difficult time going through training. And that's because, you know, you got two really strong personalities that been together for a long time and oftentimes want to prove one's right over the other. And in training, one of them has to be the authority figure, you know, be that the guy or the girl, or the girl or the girl, or the guy and the guy, whatever kind of relationship that is. One of them has to be the authoritative figure and has to have absolute say over the truck and the way the truck's ran and over the way that student driver drives and runs the truck during that training phase. And that can be very difficult. Because guys, you know that while we like to think we're in charge of the household, women really run a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? So when you get out there on that training pad, or when you're saying, hey, I would prefer you do it this way, don't do that again. Stop rolling right now. Stop. Sometimes there's some feedback or some pushback on that that I think a spouse or a significant other gets away with, whereas if it was just another student, you'd be like, get the F off my truck, you know. So now, fortunately for us, Jen and I like rarely fight. We really rarely fight. We have a fantastic relationship. That said, when we do, it's freaking World War Z. You know what I'm talking about? It's like, it is like nuclear level, you know, Walking Dead, freaking World War Z when we do. And we did get into one of those battles on a training pad because, and I don't think it wasn't necessarily over a disagreement. I think part of it was, that we just spent so much time on the pad. And Jenna, she had it, you know, she had the maneuvers, I don't know, third or fourth time on the pad, she had the maneuvers. But I made her go do it 3 or 4 more days. Like we booked way more time than was necessary, probably than what a lot of trainers would say is necessary. And, you know, that's the way I was trained too. My PSD trainer, for all his faults and the fact that I could not get off his truck soon enough, excuse me, man, I had those maneuvers down on the pad and he still booked 3 or 4 more chunks of 2 hours. And he just made me do those maneuvers over and over and over and over and over again. Excuse me. I just had a big ass smoothie, so I do have some hiccups. Smoothie King. It was the peanut butter, whatever one it was. But anyway, it gave me hiccups. So, I mean, we did these maneuvers over and over and over and over and over again. And we did them so many times. Oh, and another benefit is he made me do all of my pad time at night. Only one chunk of pad time do we do during the day. And I couldn't understand that. Now, partly because it's just easier to get pad time at night. It's hard to get pad time in the daytime. I couldn't really understand it until test day, when I had learned those maneuvers like the back of my hand and knew them so well when I could hardly see at night, which I actually have good vision at night. I don't have a problem seeing, but I'm just saying it's not as easy to see at night. Like, you really have to look for those cones, and you really have to look for that line a lot harder at night, you know. So on test day, I aced my maneuvers. I mean, absolutely aced them. No points, no questions, no problems. Just, what do you need me to do? Okay, boom, done. Second one, what do you need me to do? Okay, boom, done. You know, no whistles, no nothing. Because I had been trained in such low visibility environment that when I could see beautifully and the sun was out, it was like, you know, it was like nothing. Well, I did the same thing with Jenna. Most of her pad time was late at night. And then, of course, she trifected, you know. But there were some times where it was just like, I'm trying to say, here's what you're doing wrong. You know, don't do this. Here's the way you should be thinking about it. Here's what you're trying to accomplish. Here's what I'd like you to do. And while your meaning is sound and good, as a couple, that doesn't always come across correctly, you know. And you couples know what I'm talking about. Because you can't, when you've been in a relationship for years, you just can't really talk to each other that way. Whereas if it was a student who you just met, you want your trainer to, I wanted my trainer to talk to me that way. I wanted my trainer to say, you're not doing this correctly. You're doing this really well, but here's where you're messing up and you're not doing this correctly. Here's the way I'd like you to do it. Here's the way I want you to do it differently. I wanted to be talked to that way by my trainer. But when you're with a spouse or a significant other, they're still your spouse or significant other. They're not just a trainer, you know? So do you really want to be told that you're doing something wrong? You know? So anyway, it's a big challenge to get through training. I know there's a couple of you that I'm talking to right now that you're the first of the two of you are going through right now, and then you're going to train the other one. I tell you, once you get through it, and especially if you, you know, if you, my phone's slipping down here. If you ride on the truck, see, when I upgraded, Jenna got right on the truck. So we got a permit. She got right on the truck. She was with me on the truck for, you know, 6 months before she actually went to orientation. So she had already been on the truck for like 6 or 7 months. She knew the business. She knew that we could tolerate being together for such long periods of time in such a confined space. You know, we'd already been tested on that, and we did great on that. That's what I'd recommend you do as a couple. Ride on the truck together for a little while, for at least a few months, and then go through that training period and just be as patient as possible, and know that whoever's doing the training, my phone's slipping, whoever's doing the training is the professional driver, and they are the captain of the ship. Doesn't matter if you're the wife or the husband or the girlfriend or the boyfriend or whatever, however that relationship works. Again, they are the captain of the ship. They are responsible for that ship, and you have to be trusting. And outside of our little dust ups on the pad, just because of fatigue and frustration, because I did have Jenna out there for a long time, but outside of those little kind of back and forth, well, we did have one pretty good battle, but outside of that, I think she's always had great respect for the fact that I've done this longer than her, and that it's our truck, you know. We see it that way, but it's my truck, and then she just trusts me, you know. And there's certain things that I'll trust her on too. And you just have to have that respect, and you have to have that acknowledgement, and you have to be able to be humble. And if you can do that, you guys, it is crazy the amount of money you can make. I mean, trying to think of what we've made, because we've had 20 days off. Well, with this chunk of time that we're taking off right now, I would say that we've had 20 days off out of the last 40. Like, no joke. Probably 18 days out of the last 40 from the 8th of December back, because our plan is to leave around the 7th or 8th. So take that and go back. So, in other words, for the last 3 weeks that we've worked, we've had 3 weeks off. It's a little sporadic on how that works out, but we've worked only a little bit longer than we've actually taken off. And we've still made almost $10,000. You feel me? So it's, and I'm not saying it's always like that. I'm just saying that because you don't have to pay someone off the truck, and all the money stays on the truck, it's just incredibly lucrative. And you don't have to run hard for it. Now, granted, we did run pretty hard this last time we were out. You can when you want to and feel like it, and it can make up for the time that you're home or the time that you're down. But you just you just got to have a tremendous amount of respect and patience with each other, with each other, and you got to be humble in your approach. And there was another couple that went through orientation the same week that Jenna went through orientation, and I'm telling you, that couple didn't last more than 2 weeks. I know, because we kept in communication with them. There were actually two couples. One of those couples, John and Cindy, are still with Prime. They're doing really well, but they were on a truck together before Cindy went into training. The other couple were not on the truck really before, like maybe a week or two before orientation, and they completely fell apart. Like, she never even made it to her CDL. She never even made it out of PSD, because they weren't patient with each other. And he wasn't patient with the fact that she was driving a truck for the first time in her life. And you have to understand that, and you have to be patient with that. And we were all there. You can never forget that. You can't just get frustrated, and just because it's someone that you love or have a different, kind of relationship with, you can't have unreal expectations. And conversely, she can't think that you can just say no to your trainer just because your trainer is your boyfriend. You know what I mean? You can't just say, no, I don't care what you say, I'm going to do it this way. It's still a commercial vehicle. It's still an 80,000 pound vehicle that is heavily regulated and extremely dangerous. So I would certainly put a lot of thought into it if you're thinking of doing that. Don't let just the money or the potential for time off, become a rallying cry that you're going to pursue hell and high water to get to. Really think about all that's involved if that's a path you want to go down, and make sure that you're prepared for that. Make sure that you're ready for it, because you don't want to waste your time. You don't want to sign up for a $5,000 obligation, 1 year obligation, if you're not going to be able to make it through that PSD phase, or if it's going to split you up and ruin your relationship. But if you can live on that truck for 3 or 4 or 6 months like we did, and it works out really great for you, and you think that you're going to like it, have the other person go through orientation and drive the truck. It's great money. So anyway, there's just some thoughts while I'm sitting here in a hospital parking lot in St. Louis. That's about it on this update. But again, thank you guys so much for the thoughts and prayers. It really does mean a lot. And we got a lot of text messages from friends, private text messages that were just, very encouraging, and that continue throughout the day. Of, hey, I hope all is well today. What's the progress? What's the status? Which is freaking awesome. Just awesome that we have friends at Prime that are following along and not just saying things just to be seen as saying things. You know, like they're actually genuinely concerned. So that's really encouraging and pretty awesome. Anyway, guys, I'm over 25 minutes. This is way long for a video for my channel, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it. But be safe, guys. Make good decisions. And as always, drive to thrive. Talk to you soon.